You understood me. The little girl's hands trembled as she signed those words, tears streaming down her face. The young waitress knelt down, signing back with gentle precision. Of course I did, sweetheart. I see you. Behind them, a man in an expensive suit froze, his coffee cup halfway to his lips. He watched his daughter, his precious Lily, communicate with a stranger in ways he'd been desperately trying to learn for 3 years. Where did you learn that? His voice cracked with emotion he couldn't hide. The waitress, Harper, looked up at him with kind eyes. My little sister was deaf. I learned sign language when I was 10 because I never wanted her to feel alone. That morning had started like any other Tuesday at Mabel's diner. Harper tied her apron with practiced efficiency, her mind elsewhere. On rent due in 5 days, on her mother's medical bills, on the scholarship application she'd stayed up finishing at 2 a.m. At 24, she'd learned that survival meant working double shifts and burying dreams of becoming a teacher deep where they couldn't hurt anymore. The bell above the door chimed. A man walked in, tall, composed, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Harper's monthly salary. But it was the little girl holding his hand that caught her attention. 5 years old, with curious hazel eyes and a pink hearing aid visible behind her ear. Harper grabbed menus and approached their booth. The girl looked up at her, then tugged her father's sleeve, pointing at the menu's pictures. She wants the chocolate chip pancakes, the man said quietly, his voice carrying a weight Harper recognized, the exhaustion of a parent fighting battles no one else could see. Harper knelt down to the girl's eye level and signed, "What's your name?" The child's eyes went wide. Her hands flew up excitedly. "Lily, you know sign language?" "I do," Harper signed back, smiling, "and I think chocolate chip pancakes are an excellent choice." Lily's face lit up with pure joy. Behind her, the man, Reese Calloway, felt his throat tighten. In 3 years of navigating his daughter's world, this was the first time a stranger had simply spoken to her. Not spoken about her, not awkwardly smiled and looked away. Actually communicated. When Harper brought their order, Lily carefully signed, "Thank you." Her hands moved with the deliberate concentration of a child still learning. Harper signed back, "You're very welcome. Your signing is beautiful." Reese couldn't stay silent anymore. "Excuse me, where did you learn to sign?" Harper's smile faltered for just a moment. "My younger sister, Meadow. She was born deaf due to complications during birth. The umbilical cord wrapped around her neck, cutting off oxygen. She was a miracle baby who survived, but she lost her hearing." Harper's voice softened. "I was 10 when she was born. I learned sign language because I wanted to be the first person who could truly talk to her." "Wanted to be." Reese noticed her use of past tense. Harper looked down, fidgeting with her order pad. "Meadow passed away 4 years ago. She was only 14. Leukemia." She blinked back tears. "But I keep signing because it keeps her close." Lily reached across the table and gently touched Harper's hand. She signed slowly. "I'm sorry. She must have loved you very much." Harper's composure broke. This tiny child offering comfort with words her hands spoke. "Thank you, sweet girl. I'm sure she would have loved meeting you." Over the following weeks, Reese found reasons to return to Mabel's diner. Not for the coffee, though Harper always remembered he took it black, but to watch his daughter blossom in the presence of someone who saw her completely. One rainy afternoon, as the lunch rush died down, Reese stayed after Lily finished eating. "Can I ask you something personal?" Harper refilled his coffee. "Sure." "Why are you working here? The way you communicate, your patience, you should be teaching." Harper's laugh was bitter. "I was in the education program at State University, early childhood special education, specifically deaf and hard of hearing students." She wiped down the counter, not meeting his eyes. "But my mom got sick, MS, progressive, right after Meadow died. Someone had to work. Someone had to pay bills. Student loans, medical expenses, dreams don't pay those." Reese studied her carefully. "What if they could? Harper looked up, confused. "I run an educational foundation," Reese said quietly. "After Lily lost her hearing 3 years ago, meningitis, sudden and devastating, I realized how few teachers truly understand these kids, how alone they feel." His voice grew thick. "My wife couldn't handle it. She left us 6 months after the diagnosis, said she didn't sign up for a defective child." Harper's hand flew to her mouth. "That's horrible." It broke something in Lily. She stopped trying to communicate for almost a year, stopped smiling. Reese's eyes glistened. "But today, watching her with you, she's alive again. And I realized there are thousands of children like her who need teachers like you, teachers who don't just know sign language, but understand the loneliness." "Mr. Calloway, Reese, please." He slid a business card across the counter. "My foundation offers full scholarships for educators specializing in deaf education, complete tuition, living stipend, job placement after graduation. Let me help you finish what you started. Not for me, for all the kids like Lily who are waiting for someone to see them." Harper stared at the card, hands shaking. "Why would you do this for a stranger?" "Because you gave my daughter something I couldn't, the feeling of being understood. And because," his voice cracked, "I've spent 3 years trying to learn sign language from textbooks and apps, making mistakes, watching Lily's frustration grow. But you learned it out of love for your sister. That's the difference between knowing a language and speaking it with your soul." 3 months later, Harper enrolled in the program. She worked mornings at the diner, attended classes in the afternoon, and twice a week she tutored Lily, teaching her not just signs, but confidence. One evening, as Harper packed her books, Lily summed something that made her pause. "My dad smiles now, because of you." Harper knelt down. "He smiles because you're happy, sweetheart." Lily shook her head firmly. "No, he was sad before, alone sad, like you were alone sad. But now you both have the happy eyes again." From across the room, Reese watched them, his heart full in a way he'd forgotten was possible. Harper had become more than Lily's tutor. She'd become the bridge between his world and his daughter's, teaching him that love wasn't about fixing what was broken, but celebrating what made Lily beautifully whole. 2 years later, Harper stood in front of her first classroom. 12 deaf students between ages 5 and 8, their faces bright with anticipation. On her desk sat a photo, her sister Meadow signing, "I love you." In the back of the classroom, Reese and Lily watched the first day of class. Lily signed to her father. "Miss Harper talks with her hands like her heart, like Meadow taught her." Reese signed back, tears in his eyes. "And now she'll teach others. Love doesn't end, it just finds new hands to speak through." That afternoon, as parents picked up their children, one mother approached Harper crying. "My son signed his first full sentence today. In 3 years of therapy, he's never..." "Thank you." Harper hugged her gently. "He was always capable. He just needed someone to believe it." As the room emptied, Lily ran to Harper and signed, "Will you stay with us forever?" Harper looked at Reese, who stood in the doorway, his expression open and hopeful. She signed back to Lily, "I'll stay as long as you need me." Reese stepped forward, signing slowly, carefully, the movements he'd practiced for 2 years. "What if we need you always?" Harper's breath caught. Not a proposal, not yet, but a promise. A family built not on perfection, but on the shared language learning to speak again. She signed back, tears streaming. Then, "I'll be here. Always." Lily wrapped her arms around both of them, and in that moment, 3 people who'd known profound loss discovered something greater. That sometimes the most beautiful conversations happen when words aren't enough, and love is spoken with hands that refuse to let go. Sometimes the people meant to find each other don't speak the same language, until they learn that the heart needs no translation, only the courage to be understood. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, subscribe, and comment.